When the energy flows and your awareness grows, that's when the chakras blow high off that top, and your aura glows, and your love overflows, and everyone gets close cause they're high off that top, and that's okay, cause you are not doing by force, you're not trying to be their boss, you just high off that top. This the potential of life. To know the nature of life, you gotta take a deep dive to be high off that top. Yo. Whoa, whoa. Just making sure it's connecting like to the same place. Yeah. All right. So, fashion, pasión, pasionita, pasión, pasión, passion for life. You know, some people are born with a passion for life. But today, I have my friend Roberto, and you can't have a name like Roberto without having passion. Just the name, Roberto, has passion in it. So we've been trying to do this podcast for a while, just to get it out there, but it hasn't worked out properly until now. So we wanted to do this properly today, and the man himself. How are you, man?
Good, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for the introduction.
for real. Shit, man. But when we talk about passion, you know, it's like in some cultures they say you did some work like in a previous life, you know. So people who naturally pay attention to life, they say to have a passion for life. For you, is like, what was the first thing that you remember having a passion for? Like
Kicking a soccer ball.
kicking a soccer ball. Shit,
Yeah.
man.
As a kid, I was getting in trouble at home because I was too young to go outside. But
Yeah.
my dad gave me, I don't know who gave it to me. My dad and my grandfather gave me a soccer ball. And
Yeah.
so after a lot of smacks by my mum, because I used to break all the glassware and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my passion started.
Ah, all right. Yeah, so
A passion.
a passion, one of your passions. So if you want to know one of the most passionate persons that I know, when I think about passion, this guy comes to mind. So do you think babies have a passion for or do you think they're just hungry?
Not hungry.
Whether
Whether it builds up to be.
Yeah, if you're hungry, like you become very passionate about food, you know. So
Oh, shut up. Yeah, I'm passionate about food, but unfortunately, I've gotten to an age where I have to be careful with what I eat. You know.
yeah, for real.
You know, so yeah, it has been a passion in my life. Food.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that we will get to that like at some point later on today, but in spirituality we define passion as an attention. Like when you're really interested in something, you pay attention to it, but you become interested in something because you have paid attention to it. You know, so it goes together. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Well, I suppose it depends. Like, for example, I consider myself, I wouldn't say it's passion, or I don't know how you would describe it, but even cleaning my house,
yeah,
like, if you're going to do a job, you do it properly,
yeah,
you know, and that's just the way I am. With work, I am attentive to what I'm doing, and I'm still passionate to leave the customer happy, leave a good job, and not have any worries or problems. And I suppose that's just my outlook on life, you know. So whether it's something whether it's a hobby, sport, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's very easy to become passionate.
Oh yeah.
But I think that passion gets shadowed by obsession, because you start off with a passion and then you become obsessive with something. So
Yeah.
and you want to be the best at it.
Yeah. So let me leave this here because it's more sensitive. Yeah.
So yeah, like that's to me anyway. Like,
And you're kind of jumping ahead a little bit because I was just about to ask that question. So Sadhguru says if you're good at something, you should devote your life to it. If you don't know what you're good at by the age of 35, that's not great. I'm kind of paraphrasing. He says something is like, then what good are you? So,
or you just haven't been exposed to, or you've just haven't given yourself anything. Like it just depends. Everyone's life is different.
Yeah.
So yeah, a passion can come at any age, and it could be anything.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, I'm 37 and I don't really know what I'm good at. And this is because maybe I don't want to succeed and feel like I'm better than others, or maybe that's just an excuse. You, on the other hand, you developed a passion for tiling and you have made an art out of it. You talked a little bit. So I just wanted to know like a few things, like how did you get into it? Like at what point did you start enjoying it? And how long have you been doing it? How is it going? And what is it like people should pay attention to when they're doing something like tiling?
Well, I started at a very young age working with my dad. So I used to go work with him on school holidays or something like that.
Yeah.
To get a bit of money.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, you don't enjoy it because you're doing all the labouring and you're learning. So it wasn't passionate until I wouldn't say it wasn't a passion. I'd say it wasn't something that I wanted to do the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I started enjoying it when I was able to put an artistic side to it. So,
all right.
If I, if one of our customers, because my dad's clients they were big homes, really big homes. So it was all stone, porcelain when no one knew about it. So it was all every job was different. And one of the customers said, "Can you draw a pattern and cut it out and make it as a feature in this?" It was huge. It looked like a hall, but it was just their library / room, which had like a big fireplace in it. So they wanted to. Anyway, so my dad said, "Well, draw up a pattern so you can do that. Set it all up, cut it all up, and then we'll lay it." So I got home, grabbed some graph paper and started drawing all these things, and that's when it started. I started to see something that I enjoyed.
Wow. Yeah.
And obviously, the more you learn, the more you're able to do things, the more I like to be pushed in a physical sense. I'm not good at school. Like if I was to read something or someone's telling me how to read or how to do something via reading, I'm not good at it. If it's something that's physical, so whatever it is, you can show me, this is how you do it, I can learn straight away.
Yeah.
If it's card games, you just show me and I'll learn. I can't learn quick reading. You know what I mean? It's just been something that I've had. So yeah, from then on, I did different jobs. I went into sales and things like that, but it's nothing that I enjoyed. I hate being stuck in one place. I like to move around. I don't like offices or enclosed areas. I just think that they're, when you look outside at the world, there's a million other things that you could be doing. So
you like to be outside. You like to be more hands-on?
More hands-on, one-on-one with customers, and give them a service that they're happy with, So there's nothing more enjoyable, especially at my age now. I'm 46 now, so if I do a good tiling job or or I hear, or I get customers calling me, I saw your work, she recommended me to you, she told me to use you.
Yeah.
All these sort of things, I've even had customers say, just book me in, I don't care how much you charge. And I say, don't ever say that to a tradie. The only reason why they say it is because they're confident in my work.
Right.
So that's just part of learning, or whatever it is that you enjoy.
Yeah.
For me, I had to use it as a job. So if I'm going to do a job, didn't want to do something that, I've worked for people, but I don't like working for people because, when you know the ins and outs of something, and you can see that either your service or the way you do things, or it's just, I prefer to do it myself.
There's more freedom to it.
There's more freedom, and I've got nothing against other people that I've worked with. It's just different ways, and when it comes to a business and you deal with tradies, they've got to not only deal with the customer, deal with you, the way they want the job. They sit there worried, they don't know what you're capable of. They've got their own experiences. So to me, when someone just says, this is the job, I just need it done like this, and perfect, then they can leave me alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, once you get a direction, like you have the freedom to decide how you want to do it, like then it makes it much easier to express yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been the one for rules.
Yeah, that's the
I
thing.
always question them. I don't.
Yeah, so this is something, and we'll come back to it because I wanted to talk about that freedom a little bit and how it allows, expression. But we share a passion for sports and competition. I see passion in like 3 different expressions in sports. There's grace, then there's power. That's 2. So Jordan versus LeBron, So Jordan is more seen like as a more graceful, his airness, because he's floating, kind of thing when he's playing. LeBron is seen more as more powerful. Like they call him the king. The king is more of like an anointment thing, like he was anointed and he fulfilled the anointment or whatever. In football, there's Messi, who is seen like as having more grace. Then there's CR7, Ronaldo, who is like Cristiano, with power. And we have talked about Ronaldo and Messi before in a different context. But because he's a bigger body, people don't give him the credit. You see Messi falling and bouncing back up like it's nothing, He's also already looking around to see who is there. And we talked about his like constant attention, always looking.
That's just awareness.
Yeah, the awareness. But there's attention, like it comes, like awareness comes from attention, Like we're paying attention to something, then you become aware of what's there, So that's what I mean. It's like, but CR7, people forget that he's harder to pull down because of his bigger body. So when he gets pulled down, it's like it's harder to get out because people like pull him really hard, So people don't see like he's graceful, or like the passion. But you cannot be as disciplined as he is without being passionate, Then there's tennis. Federer is like the graceful guy. Then Nadal is the power. Then there's Djokovic, the Joker. No. I don't know if you follow that much tennis, but for me, the way I say is like the third expression is efficiency, So in basketball, like there's Steph Curry, for example. Steph Curry, and then in football, I don't know. Who would you think like is like the most kind of like efficient guy, Like clinical.
I don't know. Like I can't really speak much on basketball. I don't really follow it. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I enjoy tennis and I follow soccer, obviously.
Yeah.
Or football.
Yeah.
So when you talk about, I believe. Well, this is what I think anyway. When it doesn't matter what sport you're doing.
Yeah.
You learn the basics.
All right.
Okay. So because once you've stepped into that arena of you want to do something, like if it's tennis, basketball, whatever it is, sports, arts, whatever it is,
Yeah.
once you start learning things,
Mm.
you'll notice you'll start to do things your own way.
Yeah.
So that's what I say, even in tiling, for example. I tell the apprentices, everyone works differently.
Mm.
So you're going to have to establish yourself as a tiler, but it's going to take time. But what you're doing is you're learning, and you take things from everyone you work with. You just take something from them. Everyone's got something to teach you, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
So same thing with soccer or football. So once you start doing that, you're basically creating yourself within a sport or a hobby or whatever it is. So that's what I love about sports.
All right.
Because every player is different.
Yeah.
And yet that's their personality, that's their passion, that's why they're powerful in this section, powerful in that section.
Yeah.
Federer's backhand, for example, unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
And people deal with it, especially when it gets really competitive, differently. And that's what we are. We have to learn how to deal with certain situations. I mean, you look at the Australian guy that I really like, the what's the tennis player? The
Curious.
Yes, Nick
Curious.
love the guy.
Yeah.
And his passion, he voices before he thinks.
Yeah.
So that's just him, you know, and people take it the wrong way. So and that's everything mixed. That's the passion he has for the game, for him.
Yeah.
That's it's anger. It's, you know, trying to figure out the game as he goes. You know, and there's the ways that he reacts is what helps him, and that's why he's always asking whoever's there cheering for him to cheer for him.
Yeah.
Because he needs it. You know. So everyone's different. So that's the beauty, I think, of life in general, because if you're passionate about work, and you're passionate about anything you do, you start doing things your own way. You know, like there are, like, for example, my mother is a passionate woman that she loves to have a clean house.
All right.
Food always cooked on the table. Everyone eats dinner at the same time. You
Yeah.
know? So when dinner's ready, everyone's doing everything. You go eat dinner. That's family time.
Yeah.
So that was my mum. So
Yeah.
so I picked that up from her. You know, spotless house, doesn't miss anything, man. Everything has to be, you know.
Yeah.
So when you say I'm passionate, I suppose I see passion in everything and everyone.
Yeah. And this is the thing, because it's like people always put passion in the box, and like you say, like people work on different things. Like I'll explain a little bit about Steph Curry, you know. Steph is like, he worked on the 3-pointer. You know, LeBron is more the gym guy, he built the muscles. You know, Jordan was more like the height, you know, he could jump really high and stuff, you know. Steph just kind of perfected the 3-point shot. You know, he's like so far ahead of anyone in basketball, like with the 3-pointer, you know.
It's like David Beckham. He perfected the free kicks.
Yeah. So, but people don't give him credit. They don't feel like he has the passion, because it's like, you know, he makes it look so easy.
I see,
you know?
that's David Beckham's career. You know, like when he left Manchester, he was just a god there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what. Like, for example, when we're going back now, so when Vidic first arrived, the defender for Manchester, back then, when he first arrived, after the first 2 weeks, he started wondering where all the players were.
Yeah.
Because he's ready to hang out, you know, just chill, and he can't find anyone.
Yeah.
So he starts to go look for people. He didn't realise everyone's doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Beckham's practicing his free kicks.
Yeah.
Ronaldo is doing, this is after training, so this is in their own time. These players aren't going home.
Yeah.
They're staying there, and they're perfecting what they're weak at. So Beckham, that's why his free kicks, he never missed much, because he was practicing every night.
Yeah.
You know, Giggsy with his yoga. So you've got an amount of personalities within the team, and they all just push each other.
Yeah.
And that's when Vidic was like, fuck, I've got to do something.
Yeah.
And then that's when he started gym with Ferdinand, because he found Ferdinand in the gym.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the expression that he found, is like more muscle, or like, you know.
Yeah. that's
So-
that's it. Yeah.
And we're gonna get more into that. But you know, the Messi and Ronaldo, the passion is always associated with fire. Like, you get fired up. Like you were talking about anger, so I want to get a little bit more into the anger. So when you're on fire, it means like your attention is at its highest. You are hot. Like you got the hot hand. Like in basketball would say, you got the hot hand. You're in the flow. When someone is gaze is fierce, then we say that they are burning with passion. You talk about what made the difference for Man United. You talked about it before, like Cantona, he was known like as a passionate guy. And sometimes passion finds expression in anger or aggression, like Donald Trump, for example, getting people fired up. Like talking about Trump, like many people find passion in being against or criticizing other people, Like, how do you feel about that? Like,
Well, first of all, there's two sides to criticism. Either it's good criticism or it's bad criticism.
this is funny because in psychology they say there's no such thing as good criticism.
Well, that's exactly right. But in layman's terms, you
Yeah.
have to say it because,
Yeah,
because everyone thinks differently and
yeah,
everyone expects everyone to think the same. That's where these people come out and give their opinion.
yeah.
To me, when you look at someone that's giving opinions,
Yeah,
they're just telling me who they are.
yeah, and this is the thing.
So
It's like,
to me, it's not something that they're not growing.
Yeah.
They've got nothing in life.
yeah,
So, and it doesn't matter who you are, how successful you are.
Yeah.
These people are always there.
yeah,
So whether you're, it doesn't matter how much money you earn. I follow a lot of mural artists, graffiti artists, and things like that.
yeah,
And there is some talent out there that is just amazing, and people still have something bad to say about it.
yeah,
So to me, it's like I've said it. Like one of the writers from the ILAC team, for example, he put a post up, and then there's these negative comments,
yeah,
and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, who are you? Like, and then you look at their their art, and they're so far behind.
yeah,
And then you look at the artists that they're commenting these things, and I just wrote to the artist and I just said, I don't know how
yeah,
you guys deal with this shit,
yeah,
but they just fucking don't ever let them. Like, obviously they don't, or it might affect them in some way,
yeah,
but don't ever let these people just keep doing what you're fucking doing, because at the end of the day, they're, there's always going to be that. I've had that as a kid, like growing up.
yeah,
Like, doesn't matter what game I played, how good I played, if I scored or whatnot,
yeah,
my dad always had something bad to say, so he concentrated on the things that I didn't do right.
yeah,
Not, if you just give me something on the things that I did right, but then criticize me on, you got to work on this or whatever,
yeah,
it's different. But if it's constantly on one side,
Yeah.
my dad was like that, my mum was like that.
yeah. So this is the thing that I wanted to cover, because it depends. Like, this is where the management comes in football, like in coaching. It's like, and I'll get into that a little bit more later. But it's like, people have to be open to the criticism.
Yeah,
Like, people
exactly,
have to, like, it's how people take criticism is so different. Like, Sadhguru is, for example, he says, like, when you're doing something right, there's no need for somebody to tell you you're doing it right. It's not helpful, Like, you want somebody to tell you when you're doing it wrong. But it's like, there's,
That's exactly right.
yeah, but there's many people who are not like, at that point where they can handle the criticism,
That comes down to the person, to me.
Yeah,
Because the person because it's true. I wouldn't say it's criticism, whether it's what it is,
his opinions.
opinions,
Yeah.
and it just comes down to how whoever's, receiving the criticism or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
how he handles it.
Yeah, like criticism normally is like pointing out like how you can do something better, Like somebody who knows something more than you is good. Like for me, I feel like, you
Yeah,
know,
but that's teachers, and that comes down to respect. When
Yeah.
when you respect someone and
Yeah.
what they're doing,
yeah,
they're gonna teach you. And
like leading by example kind of
exactly,
thing.
like, and the thing is that that's what these artists do anyway. Like, there's so many artists helping each other, or people that are, you know, learning or whatever it is,
Yeah,
and they're just pushing it.
yeah,
And what's so hard about that? You know, so
yeah,
and that's where you need respect, because respect, just, you got to understand the other person. That's why someone that you don't know is criticizing you, it hits in a different way.
Yeah.
Compared to a friend
yeah,
that's telling you something.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have more respect for your friend.
for real.
So someone that
Because he knows a little bit more, you know, like, yeah, what he's
he's
talking.
looking at you from the outside, he knows you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And at the same time, he's just telling you what. See, I'm like that. Like, I've got a stepson at the moment. He's 10 years old, or 11.
Yeah.
And he always, you know, if you play catch, he'll be like, "What was that?" He'll criticize what we'd say. And I'm like, okay, so you'd always throw the ball at him. He can't catch it.
Yeah.
He's not
Coordinated. Yeah.
at the moment. He's got it there. It's just that, you know,
The attention.
it's, yeah. So, and he criticizes all the time. So then I say to him, don't talk to your friends like that.
Yeah.
You know, fair enough, but don't swear at them. You know, there's something about criticism can turn ugly, and kids can turn.
There's a deeper pain sometimes. You know, some people are trying to
word it differently, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you know, he doesn't like it. But I voice myself like that, and sometimes people take it the wrong way. So I've got to understand
Yeah.
that because I'm very sharp with my words, you know, and it does get to, and I'm just trying to get a message through, and then I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people hate that.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't. It always happens that 3 months goes by, or however long it takes the person to realize, and they're like, "Fuck, thanks, man."
Yeah.
Because I realized that, because everyone else is just kissing your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the moment is always like, yeah, it's, and that's the hardest thing, is like, especially nowadays, it's become an age of entitlement, you know. And let me kind of like get into it, because like I wrote something a little bit about it, you know. So when we talk about aggression, there is like the aggression of, like, let's say Atletico Madrid or the Italian national team or Roy Keane or Faggy, you know, not the singer obviously, you know. But you know, how do you see the passion in Messi and Ronaldo and modern football? Is it even allowed? Is passion even allowed, like that kind of passion, the aggression? Or has passion just become about the skill and the execution, you know?
Are you talking about the actual sport?
Yeah, so that's what I mean, like,
It's not that the passion has changed. It's just.
but I'm saying like that passion where it's like aggressive, like Atletico is known to be,
You
like,
gotta
you know?
understand that you're talking about elite.
Yeah.
So these are the best of the best, regardless of what sport you're talking about. Like you were mentioning the baller from before.
Yeah, but I'm saying like so many people now say like sports has become soft.
Wait,
you know?
when it has, because it's become more political in the sense
Yeah.
that there's money,
Yeah.
the contracts, the
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's why I was talking about.
But wait, let me explain the situation.
Yeah.
What it is football has become a money machine. So players are going here.
Yeah.
And what you'll notice is these young players coming through.
Yeah.
They're not coming from their hometown club. You know, like what Messi or many other players did generations
Like
before.
Tevez and Suarez, yeah.
So what they're doing is they're moving from club to club. Club
Yeah.
buys them, they're growing up.
Yeah.
Other clubs see them, then they go there. Look at Garnacho. He was at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
So he was playing with them.
Yeah.
Manchester United finds him, and they've got scouts everywhere like other clubs. So at the end of the day, that's where they poach him. So players, and he's from Argentina.
Yeah.
So he's flown over to England, Spain. He's got like, so whereas before it was you played it like, you look at Manchester United, for example, and
Yeah.
I just go by them because to me, it's not just a club. It wasn't just a club.
And that's why I mentioned them, you know.
But
Yeah.
They were kids that were put together from the age of 12. I think Beckham was signed at the age of 10. Like he's actually signed.
Yeah.
Fergie's taken him in already.
Yeah.
So these kids grew up together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And not to mention the ones that didn't make it. Because there was a midfielder, a dark guy, young kid with super ball skills.
Yeah.
But he said in the interview, if I didn't have the drive, the obsession that they did,
Yeah.
if you're not prepared
And
to
this
give
is
up
what I
that
was like
lifestyle,
asking, because you know the hunger. You know, when you're entitled, it's very hard to have that hunger. You know, like when you come from the streets like a Tevez or like a Suarez, you know, like they are willing to, you know. So this is the fire, you know, the passion. Like people talk about the aggression, like and somebody like Simeone or like Roy Keane, like he couldn't make it as a manager because he was too passionate. That's what he said. Like I watched an interview where he was talking about it. You know, like kids are so soft. You know, and that's why I was asking you. Like when you look at football today, like how do you see it, like with the entitlement and like that hunger? You know?
it's a different. The hunger's there, but it's different. Like I don't know.
It's more for the fame or
Growing up these days, you've got the internet.
all right,
You've got you got all these schools that you can. Every town has a soccer school or something that's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe not as much as there should be, but there's always interest in the sport no matter where you go.
Yeah.
So everything's more accessible.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great to see the women because it's you never used to see women's team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they're awesome to watch when they know how to play because it used to be in Australia. You know, for Australia for many years, it was very English type, aggressive. You know, but not real skill. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like the flow. You know?
Like
the game's always been, black and white. You know? So
the technicality is not much.
I mean, you look at the most, for example, my era, you had Vince Grella, Mark Viduka,
Harry Kuehl was pretty technical.
Harry Kuehl, Tim Cahill, and Bresciano, all these players that have played overseas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they're just, a small example as to how many are really out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's is different with soccer. So now it's very football is very business.
Yeah.
And it's very cutthroat. So things change.
Oh, yeah.
And say for example, what I mean it's very cutthroat is that you can't get like managers like Postecoglou.
Yeah.
He doesn't get close to the players.
No.
Because that's the way he cuts, that's the way he deals with the team, because he doesn't want to get too involved with the players.
Yeah.
That's from, I don't know whether things change or whatnot, but
it's more old school.
Old school.
Yeah.
So, but that's what football is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They asked him, is it hard to leave Celtic because of all the wins that he's had and success, whatnot?
Yeah.
And he said, that's football.
Yeah.
I've got to move on to what I want to do now. So football's become very, like, he's the first Australian fucking manager ever to be in the Premier League, bro.
Yeah.
Or given opportunities to go overseas. Because when he came to Raw, he changed the fucking team.
Yeah.
Dude, how good were we playing?
Man, for real.
The flow of the team, like, and that was Raw, and we won it.
Yeah.
2 years in a row. Like, what was 2, 3? I don't know. We came close to third or whatever it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But the team was playing so well, and the Suncorp was full.
Yeah. I remember those days, like 36 games unbeaten. But before we move on,
But wait, I'm still talking.
yeah, but you know,
I got to speak.
yeah.
But then you got, you know, and then he goes on to Japan, wins that league, you know. But don't forget, he left Raw, went to Victory, won it there.
Yeah.
Right, with them. Then he's gone to Japan, I think it was.
Yeah.
Won it with them.
Mm.
Then Celtic picked him up. I don't know how many times he won it in Japan. It could have been twice.
Only
I'm not
once.
100% sure, or once.
Only once.
Then
Yeah.
Celtic picked him up.
Yeah.
So what does he go there?
Yeah.
He's won the treble, bro.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
People doubted him so much. But before we move on, it's like you mentioned Cahill, and for me, Cahill, like as soon as you mention him, I'm like, that was somebody with hunger. That was somebody with passion. Like that guy was a fighter, you know. And he used to score like such crazy, like important goals, you know. And it's like, I don't know if there's that anymore. You know, when I look at like even in the UK, you have a team like Man City. There's not a lot of fighters. Like even Arsenal, like now it's probably maybe not necessary.
Because
I mean,
there's so many players.
Yeah.
There's just so many players, and
like Liverpool, I feel like has a couple, you know.
there's just so many players.
Yeah, but it's
So you gotta be the cream of the crop.
yeah,
That's basically what it comes down to.
but it's become so technical, you know. But yeah, this is just, you know, you grew up as a Christian. I don't know, like Catholic,
I wasn't really religious when I was young.
but it's like in the
I
family.
was a Christian,
Yeah,
I'd say, but we never went to church. We
Okay.
never prayed. Like we never.
yeah,
My dad said,
mm,
you just hold God in your heart. You don't need to go anywhere.
yeah,
You know what I mean? God's there with you. Why do you need to get dressed in,
yeah,
you know, church? And because I always used to wonder, you know, because I had friends that would go to church,
yeah,
you know. So the only times I really went
Mm.
was either for a wedding or a funeral.
ah.
So
So it's like one person who is popular in the spiritual circles is like Swami Vivekananda, and he say one thing, which is like you are closer to God in football than in prayer. You know, the way I understand that is that you can pray without really being attentive, you know, but you cannot really play well without attention or passion, you know. What do you think about that?
yeah, you gotta have a passion for it.
Yeah, and you're much closer to life, like when you.
So you look at our team. Every player that's there wants to play.
Yeah.
That's the story, man.
Yeah,
We want to play because that's why we're there.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
mm,
So you need to have something,
yeah,
you know. And I love what we're doing. you
yeah,
know, and the drills, training, whenever anyone can make it,
yeah,
like everything that we're doing is in the right direction. So to play anything,
mm,
the older you get is the more you realize
yeah,
that whatever passions you build as a child, they're the passions that you want to have as you get older. There's things that you can turn to.
yeah,
Football saved my life when I got separated from the wife. Like I couldn't see the kids.
yeah,
Football was the only thing I had,
mm,
because turning to drugs, turning to alcohol,
yeah,
like that's just a downward spiral. So
mm,
I thought the only way is to get the body fit and play. I
yeah,
hadn't played for years.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
for
Missed
sure.
it. And I missed every little part of it, and I was overweight. So
Mm,
that just became my drive. I got through some of the worst times of my life
yeah,
because I had football. And,
Yeah.
and I had a soccer ground just down the street. So I'd go walk down the street through an alleyway over a creek, and
mm,
there was Pine Rivers, I think it was. So
Yeah.
I had two fields with the main road running in between.
mm,
So they had the stadium side, which was locked.
Yeah.
And then they had like an open park. So every day I just got the soccer ball and just ran laps, played with the ball,
yeah,
shots at goals.
mm,
And it just led me to meeting new people and just enjoying, because to me, it's whatever hobby you have, doesn't matter what it is that you do.
mm,
And when you lose yourself in somewhere, it's meditative.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So if you lose yourself in drugs, it's very bad. But if you have a passion, like whatever it is, you just hone into that.
Yeah.
It's it helps with your mind, soul, whatever you want.
Yeah. And we're gonna get a little bit into, like you talked about, like that kind of mateship, So I grew up as a Christian, like, so I use it as a reference. So going back to Christianity, like, have you ever watched The Passion of the Christ with Mel Gibson? So yeah, so I thought about that and I was thinking like what passion means in that context, So what I saw was that, like, he was passionate about his message, that he was willing to suffer and die for it. We play in the same team, and how do you see the passion in our team? Like, firstly, like for me, like it's like the passion has grown since we have gotten to know each other. We have started playing for each other, so the drive has been strong because there's mateship, and not really one person is imposing themselves, it's just we have seen what each other is sacrificing, yeah, so we're sacrificing for each other, and like because of that the passion has grown. That's like kind of what you were talking about before. And in the same way, like when like that quote like about being closer to God, like you talked about, like meditation, like it becomes like a meditation,
Yeah, it's a meditative state.
Yeah, and it's helped a lot of people get out of like so many things, like even somebody like Sane, I mean not Sane but Mane, coming from a poor place is like, getting to where he got to, So I am not good at anything, like just going back a little bit, like what I mentioned at the start, like I'm not good at anything, but I feel like I've had like so many passions. Like from a young age I was interested in sewing, like footballs, like making footballs like from like paper, things like this, knitting. I used to do a lot of knitting. I used to knit scarves like with using nearly like any two sticks or any thread, and just kind of knit a scarf or something, And I really got into reading. I would go to the library and read encyclopedias, mystery books, which is like the opposite of you, It's like I like to be more inside and doing things, like even like fixing some.
You're a reader.
Yeah, and even like opening up like different things like electronics and stuff and putting them back together. Like I used to love doing that. But I don't have that attention anymore. Like I just feel like I don't have the patience, Then I got into like video games. I played FIFA like so much, Because when I first came to Australia, my friend like he gave me a FIFA game, and it just from there it was on, So I just got into it. Then I got into picking up girls. So after I read, there's a book called The Game from Neil Strauss. They used to call him Style, and there was a guy named Mystery, So I watched so many movie videos and books, and I read so many books about it. They used to call it the PUA community, pickup artist community, Then it's like Dr. Sebi and the alkaline diet, and now yoga and Sadhguru, And this for me it feels like more than a passion, but I'm still like not good at it. Like I normally go into something very strongly, then I pull back a little bit because maybe I'm scared of being weird, It's like of not being accepted in society. Like society looks at it as being weird, like because it's different, It's not what people do. So
I don't see it as being weird.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way.
But it's like if I do my practices, like what I do somewhere in public, people feel like, somebody mentioned the other day that yoga is witchcraft. It's like this is an African guy, obviously. Like it's Africa, witchcraft is seen as like, and it is. Like when you look at it like that, it is. And for me, I feel like even Jesus was doing witchcraft, because when somebody
He studied everything.
yeah. So, but I'm saying like what people forget is like when you do something that people don't understand, people think is witchcraft. Like witches were doing the same stuff like Jesus was doing, but because they're women, they're prosecuted, you know? So it's like it looks like witchcraft. Like if now I go and I'm doing something with the fire, like what I do, what Sadhguru does, it feels a little bit like witchcraft, you know? So it's coming from where I come from, my background, you know? So that's what I mean. Which is why like even if I go really extreme with what I'm doing, like my diet, you know, like for yoga, like I know it's the right thing for the body, but I don't want to look too weird, you know, because I still have to be in society and things like that. And you know, we've had discussions about it. You know, we've talked about that, like, and I'll go back a little bit to the Vivekananda quote, you know, and how I see spirituality as a passion, you know, because yoga in some way for me is a passion for life. If you look at Sadhguru, he is a very passionate person, like for me, like the way I see him, you know. So yoga means union. So we want to be in union with life. To be in union with life, you have to be healthy, which means you do what is right for the body, to be clear and flexible. You do what is right for the mind, to be clear and flexible also, which is like then the energy will flow without any resistance. And we talk about health another day, but how it is connected to holiness and, you know, wholeness and all that. But essentially in yoga is about being attentive. You pay attention to the posture, you know, you hold a certain posture, and then to the vibrations, like when you're doing a mantra or something, or to the breath and to the energy. Then you become more present, you become more aware, you become more passionate for life. Like, how do you feel about this explanation? Because like we talked about before, like I think you said it's like meditation for you, like when you play football, you know?
You've just described exactly what it is to have a passion for something.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but there's so much resistance in society towards it, you know, like
Because everyone does different things to get to that state.
yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
I think because
Yeah, or some people like our team, for example, we're all passionate about something, and some guys are just like, I want to play,
yeah,
and they don't realize, like Matt, for example, he wants to play.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I love that about him. You know what I mean? And he's just coming back after how many years out? Like 10.
I know.
So you watch, and he's only going to progress.
Yeah.
He's not shit. Like, he's
There you go,
that's really good.
Yeah, you talking about like Matthew, or the other, like, you know, there's Matthew.
Glanzman.
Oh yeah. I was thinking about the other guy also.
No, that's Matthew.
Yeah, but he also has like that passion. I think he's been out for like
But
so many years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I love about our team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Justin was saying when we were sitting on the bench, he goes, he's like a little ferret. Look at him. And he just runs to get the ball. And you know that pressure that he did? That killed them on that win.
Man.
Do you know that they might have made the pass, but they lost it because of him.
Yeah.
Because he was running back. Dude, he killed it. Justin. But you know the funny thing is, he's good. He's surprised. I'm like, I can see that in him, man. You just gotta give people time.
Yeah.
You know, because he was frustrating Justin.
Yeah.
And I understand why. Because the training it's like he's with the fairies.
Yeah.
So he doesn't listen to instructions well, you know, and it's just his mind, you know, has to think a different way, and I think he'll get there.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to watch. That's why I'm serious with him. Matt, go.
Yeah. Oh. But it's funny because he actually scored our only goal last game. When, you know, Glenn was like trying so hard to like dribble, and the ball just fell to him. Boom! Goal! I'm like, God damn! He's like, you know, but I feel like it's a cultural thing because we in Western society are like so heavily influenced by Western society, you know?
Yeah.
It's like some things are more acceptable than others, you know, like what I do is kind of feels a little Indian, you know? You know, like if I'm Indian, it's okay. But to a lot of people, like when I do this thing, like in India, I just came from there, and it's like every extreme is welcome, you know. There's like a woman who's acting like a crazy, like, and people are bowing to her, and she throws the coffee on the ground, and people like pick it up and they want to put it on their head, you know. It's just that kind of like devotion is more welcome, you know. Whereas like people don't like have that much judgment, you know, or opinion, because everything goes. There's people they call sadhus, and they smoke weed publicly, and it's like allowed. There's people, you know, painting their faces and doing all kinds of things on the street, you know, and it's like that's the spirituality. But here in Western world is like the idea is more, you know, impressions like about more being more professional, you know. That's the best way I can put it, you know. More educated, like looking more educated and whatever.
Faking it till you make it.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know, that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about on passion, man. I don't know if you wanted anything to say, you want to say something else, or
No, not really, man. Just,
yeah. So
I would like to talk about the team.
yeah,
Go on.
all right. I feel like we have to prepare this, but all right, let's.
Well, you can chop
We
and
can-
change anyway.
Yeah, we can do it
So
like
you save it.
yeah,
While it's fresh.
yeah. All right.
That's another segment.
Yeah, yeah. We'll cut it from here.
No, just cut it anyway.
Okay, let's get into it.
You don't have to explain what's going on.
No. I'm not explaining it, obviously.
Well,
Just for my
we'll do the
benefit.
intro then so you can cut it out. Yeah, thanks for having me on here, man.
Cheers, man. Yeah, and from last time, I don't know, we said he's gonna call it high off the top, you know, so. I don't know if you still wanna keep that.
That's
Because,
up to
like-
you. So,
Yeah, so high off the top. This been I, Abu, and Roberto talking about passion. Is, you know, get into it. We're done. We're done. That's it.
All right. I've been getting like catching that second half.